Machop, Machop, and Machamp, the superpower Pokémon. Welcome everyone, I'm exceptional and I hope you are too. Today we will be exploring how quickly we can defeat Pokémon FireRed, including the Round 2 Elite Four, using only our starter, whom I will allow to evolve.
No, I will not be talking like that the entire time because I value my throat. There are further details in the description, but my general rules are, I can only use my starter in battle, no items in trainer battles except held items, no glitches, exploits, or RNG manipulations, and I don't particularly like accuracy or evasion strategies, so I will tend to avoid them. You may be thinking, but wait, Machamp is a trait evolution, how are you gonna manage that? In my challenge videos, I use the Universal Pokémon Randomizer to assign my starter in Professor Oak's lab. Another great feature I can choose in the software is checking the Change Impossible Evos box. This box makes essentially every evolution possible in a solo playthrough of the game. Instead of trading or trading with a held item, we simply evolve to a Machamp upon leveling up like any other Pokémon. In this run, we're going to be evolving from Machop to Machop at level 28 as normally, but then from Machop to Machamp at level 37. Machop faces an interesting struggle at the start of the game. Our starting move is Low Kick, which is going to be fantastic against Brock, but the problem is that our rival's Bulbasaur is Grass and Poison type, so he resists our only attacking move. We actually lose the lab battle right off the hop. I try again right away, counting this one as a reset because this is my second attempt at the same battle. Low Kick's power is based on the weight of the Pokemon that you're attacking. Bulbasaur weighs 6.9 kilos, nice, or 15.2 pounds. Yes, I always give both measurements because I live in Canada, so I have to be bilingual. 454 grams per pound. Anyway, that's within the lowest threshold of damage, giving Low Kick a base power of 20, 10 once resisted, or a whopping 15 once we take into account stab or same type attack bonus. We lose again, but this time I will not be incrementing it as a reset because even though we lost, this battle is marked as complete and the gameplay continues. So, Bulbasaur illustrated a bit of a problem, but we have an even bigger problem ahead. There's a mandatory Weedle in between us and Brock. Weedle is the bug poison type, so they resist Low Kick by 4 times, while weighing in at a whopping 3.2 kilo or 7.1 pounds. We're now looking at an effective power of 7.5. That's our only option aside from depleting 30 PP of Leer to use Struggle, or we can level up to 13 when we learn Karate Chop, another fighting move. I thought I'd try and get clever and avoid poison because I encountered a Pikachu and was affected by static. I actually reset this battle early because we're getting our butt kicked so hard. I know that Brock is going to be a piece of cake, but I very much underestimated how much of a problem this mandatory Weedle is going to be. I've trained up to level 10 over 2 damage rounding thresholds, and let's check out this second battle where I explain the whole poison thing. Weedle knows 2 moves, String Shot, which we are not worried about, and Poison Sting, which we are. With a 10% chance to poison us, if we take that status effect, the damage overwhelms us very quickly. Taking it early is an absolute death sentence. I see my typical luck with Poison is going to remain strong in this run. I guess it also doesn't help if we run out of Low Kicks. I felt like I'd done enough disorganized running around for this early section of the game already, so I come right back in with the hopes that Leer could answer our problem. I use 1 reducing Weedle's defense by 1 stage and start hammering away with Low Kicks again. We fall just short of knocking him out, once again running out of PP. Alright, surely 2 Leers and we're gonna get through this, right? I take an early poison and my heart sinks, sensing another reset. I play the battle through anyway because anything can happen, and that early poison is balanced by Weedle choosing an excessive amount of String Shot, so we're not taking 2 hits of damage every turn, and we manage to knock him out. I use a quick antidote so we don't get knocked out between here and the Poké Center, and now get me the heck out of this forest, please. The extra grinding that I did to get through Bugcatcher Sammy prompted me to skip Camper Liam and go straight for Brock. No save required here because I am 100% confident in winning this battle. Geodude surprisingly only weighs 20 kilos or 44 pounds, so Low Kick is in the 40 base power range. Add in Stab and Geodude's type weakness for an effective power of 120, allowing us the 2-shot. Onix, however, weighs 210 kilo, 463 pounds in the highest weight category of Low Kick for 120 base power, for an effective power of 360. So despite Onix's formidable defenses, we get the 1-shot. Sammy's Weedle should have been the first gym challenge in this run. We now collect TM39 Rock Tomb from Brock. It isn't the greatest move ever at 50 base power and only 80% accuracy, but its rock typing and speed reduction gives us some much needed coverage and a little utility with opponents like Misty's super speedy Starmie coming up. In Mount Moon, I make sure to grab the Helix Fossil. I'm sure there won't be any consequences to this choice. We save some time after all. Just outside of the tunnel, I have a whole moment where I cruise right by the two move tutors that teach both Mega Punch and Mega Kick. Oh, wait, that's super useful for me. I spin around and let's teach Machop Mega Punch. I'm not a big fan of lower accuracy moves, so I'll abstain from Mega Kick. At 80 base power, Mega Punch is a good normal move to round us out right now, but it still only has 85% accuracy. But hey, 80 and 85 are better than 50 and 80 with Rock Tomb, and we have a Bulbasaur to deal with. I haven't done much additional grinding through Mount Moon, and as a part of the medium slow growth rate group, we actually level quite quickly in the early game. We're at level 19 coming into Rival 2. I'm hoping that Pidgeotto's type advantage helps prevent him from using sand attacks on us. It doesn't here, and with Rock Tomb's already low accuracy, we miss 3 out of 4 turns and Pidgeotto picks us apart. But what happens if, despite getting hit with a sand attack, we hit most of our attacks? Well, we absolutely crush him is what happens. I came right back into the battle, hitting 2 Rock Tombs to take down Bird Brains, cleaning up Abra and Rattata easily. 1 Mega Punch does over half to Bulbasaur, switching to Seismic Toss for the knockout because of the higher accuracy. We got poisoned but leave the battle at 55 health, 88% of our max. Way different than last battle using the exact same strategy. Oh, RNG. I just had to take a moment against this lanky-manky grape ape of House Bruno to let you know that my Karate Chop is stronger than his. It isn't a big deal. I continue along where I find myself in a bit of a nasty predicament. I've been poisoned so many times that my 4 antidotes are now gone, as are my healing items. Okay, I have 31 health to run back to the Poké Center. I start moving and this spinner snags me, oh no. I win quickly, but we now only have 14 health. I check my bags to see if there's anything I can do. Nope, doesn't look like it. We make it over halfway down Nugget Bridge, but the poison damage takes us down. I actually decide to take the whiteout because the last time that we saved was before Rival 2. Okay, let's make a stop at the Pokemart, and yeah, I am gathering all sorts of notes on this first playthrough already. I make it through, and I'd like to take on Misty before heading south to Vermilion City. I'm not 100% confident in our success, but it's worth a try. Staryu outspeeds going for Harden, but that doesn't matter as a crit stab Karate Chop bypasses that for a clean Oko or one-hit knockout. We exchange some big hits back and forth, but with Starmie remaining faster after the first Rock Tomb, we get taken out. I come right back in with the intention of using Rock Tomb twice, then hoping Mega Punch can knock her out. This time though, Staryu got in a hit and Starmie cleans us up with a very healthy green bar. Well, I'm not confident in that one right now. Let's see how things go on the SSN. After making my way south and grabbing my HM cheerleaders, but no army of Meowths, I board the SSN and snag that super nifty heal that does not exist in Gen 1. In the second room from the left on this deck lies a move that I want. I accidentally pull this lass out, so I leave the room and come back in to avoid battling her brother too. TM31 contains Brick Break, a 75 base power fighting move that will likely be our bread and butter for the remainder of the run. I snag the trash can berries and teach our new move before facing down Rival 3. Rock Tomb lives Pidgeotto at a sliver while we get hit by Sand Attack. I switch to Brick Break for the higher accuracy and realize that it would have been the better choice from the start. Kadabra destroys our accuracy with Kinesis and disables Brick Break, so we're without it for Raticate. Our bad accuracy and inability to use Brick Break results in us taking a lot of damage against it. Ivysaur is out and Brick Break is no longer disabled, now that it's no longer relevant. We get put to sleep and then taken down. Super effective Rock Tomb against Pidgeotto has an effective power of 100 with an accuracy of 80%. Stab Neutral Brick Break has an effective power of 112 with an accuracy of 100%. Way better getting the Oko against Pidgeotto. I came into this battle paralyzed to try and take advantage of our ability Guts, but paralysis is awful and we get taken out super early. I went down to the lower decks to do a touch of training after resetting here a few times. I figured that we were close enough to level 28 and our evolution that it was worth investing time there instead of wiping against Rival 3. Against this gentleman though, we get burned, which is the best case scenario for us. It's a little bit odd to say that a physical attacker being burned is the best case scenario, but Guts changes things a little. Our ability Guts increases our attack by 50% when suffering from a major status ailment like poison, paralysis, burn, sleep, or freeze. Freeze does seem like an odd one to include, but hey, there's probably some new mechanic that I'm unaware of. If burnt though, we do not suffer the usual drop in attack. Burn is the best because it leaves all of our stats intact, but adding the gamble of taking additional damage every single turn in battle. Poison is similar, but we won't take the overworld damage with a burn. Kadabra messes us up again with a disable play followed by a critical stab super effective confusion. Well, there isn't much to do against that, but in this attempt I switched to Dig against Kadabra. He missed Disable anyways, but after exposing myself to that extra turn of burn damage, we do get the one-shot. Raticate outspeeds hitting a big Hyper Fang, so we're only at 30 HP, a little under a third coming into Ivysaur. Rock Tomb hits but doesn't do enough, while Ivysaur's Vine Whip and burn damage bring us to 7 hit points. I use another Rock Tomb to finish the battle, but I should have used Seismic Toss. Fun fact, I should have used Seismic Toss the whole time, as Ivysaur has 56 HP, so at level 28 we need exactly 2 to take him out, but with the advantage of a higher accuracy move. Now I know. After the Rival 2 battle, witness the glory as Machop goes through his winter bulking montage, gaining an unreasonable amount of contractile tissue in a suspiciously short amount of time, evolving into Machoke. We need Cut to face Surge, and we need to defeat Misty to use Cut. I've kept my burn status, chewing through additional potions as the consequence of maintaining the higher attack stat. Brick Break brutalizes Staryu. We miss against Starmie while her Water Pulse hits for around 20%, confusing us and triggering our held Persimberry. One Rock Tomb hit though is enough to make her slower than us, and despite the Water Pulses and constant burn damage, we now have the damage output to take down Starmie and collect our second badge. The more that I write this script, the more that I'm realizing that in buying these potions, I'm fueling Machoke's insatiable desire to grow, bro. In this stage of his development, his metabolism is absolutely burning him up, requiring exogenous supplementation with potions almost constantly. I'm actually being a big-time enabler here, and the worst part is, I'm doing it for my own benefit. All of this for a faster completion time? If I think about it too much, the guilt is gonna overwhelm me, but then I remember that just like my Tamagotchi all those years ago, this thing is made of pixels. Stop anthropomorphizing the Pokemon, man. On the other side of Rock Tunnel, I head directly south of Lavender Town to the Gatehouse to collect TM27 Return. This will give us a great high PP normal option through the mid-game. I'll take a moment to note that since putting Dig on my moveset, I've regretted not having access to a normal move a couple of times. Even in the late game when we have the option of Earthquake, as unfortunate as it is, I don't feel the ground typing adds a lot of coverage in FireRed. I also was at a point with my power points where I was forced to heal, finally losing the burn status, but don't worry, it will be back. I'm not too worried about losing the burn at this point because the majority of the mid-game is just clearing rocket grunt teams that are full of fodder Pokemon that we don't need a lot of strength to dispatch of. Stab super effective Brick Break takes apart Giovanni's first team. I don't feel I'm ready for Erica quite yet, so instead head towards Saffron, then south to Vermilion to finally defeat Lieutenant Surge and unlock Fly. Against the Gentleman before Surge, I was affected by Static and decided to just keep the paralysis in this battle. We're over-leveled enough that we should be able to lose a turn or two to being fully paralyzed in exchange for guaranteed one-shots. We make it through the battle with actually his Voltorb being the one to inflict the most damage to us. Awesome. I fly back to Lavender Town to face Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower. Even without our burn, our attack stat is high, and our physical moves absolutely carve a path through Rival 4's team. The reason I chose the nickname Big Mac is because Machop, Machoke, and Machamp all start with Mac. Plus, tell me this guy doesn't give you some CT Fletcher vibes. I command you to grow! He ate 4 Big Mac meals every day for 20 years until he needed a heart transplant. But hey, that's some dedication to a primary goal in life of making the ground shake with every step. Seriously though, CT Fletcher has a super inspirational story and continues to motivate and train lifters today. Our Big Mac got totally lost in my tangent, falling asleep and getting taken out from pretty much full by Ivysaur. Hey, check it out, I'm sick of dealing with sleep powder, so I have a Chesto Berry equipped this time. This is one of those instances where having a burn would have an added benefit of preventing us from sleeping, as we can only be affected by one major status at a time. Defeating Rival 4 levels us to 37, which is the threshold deemed fair by the Universal Pokémon Randomizer for us to evolve into Machop. Glorious. If we were Big Mac before, we're more like Monstrous Mac now. All of these M words have my alliteration tingling. Oh, Mary Mac's mother's making Mary Mac marry me, my mother's making me Mary Mac. I progress towards Silphco, where I'm collecting high-value items to sell for vitamins, as well as grabbing an absolutely fantastic move for Machop, TM8 Bulk Up. It's a setup move that boosts our attack and defense by one stage, and as we've seen in many of my runs, the ability to set up changes this game. Like so many things in this game, though, it isn't simply a cure-all. You have to be able to find the opportunity to set up. Pidgeot can wreck this battle for us with Sand Attack and Feather Dance, so I take it out immediately. Alakazam can just straight up wreck us, so I take him out with Return. I choose to set up against Gyarados using 2 Bulk Ups before taking him down. I set up once more against Growlithe, but we're at 25 health coming into his Ace Venusaur. Come on, we're at +1 attack right now, and we miss the range getting taken down. I'll bring us right back in at Gyarados, as in the next attempt I decide to take him out ASAP, then do my setup against Growlithe. A big advantage of setting up against Growlithe is that it gives him plenty of opportunities to burn us again. I stall as long as I'm comfortable with, going to +5 defense but only +3 attack because of the Intimidates. We don't get burned, but with the 2 extra setup turns, Venusaur stands no chance and we can finish off Silphco. Coming into Sabrina, I seem to have a certain ethos when it comes to this battle. Strong, fast, physical attacks get the job done. We're most of those things, but one thing that Big Mac is not is fast. At only 55 speed, I've chosen a Jolly Nature to try and help that out. It reduces our special attack by 10% while boosting speed by 10%. It felt like the best choice here because we are never going to be using our special attack on Machop. I find it absolutely hilarious that we can learn Flamethrower, but we have better options. Despite her type advantage, Big Mac takes Sabrina to school, but I will note that a single Psychic from Alakazam hit us for over 70% of our max health. On my way back through Celadon, it's time to defeat Erica. I defeat the trainers on the left side of her gym for the attack EVs, and against Erica herself, we can see Guts in action. We can't take out Victory Bell in a single shot, but after she paralyzes us, Guts boosts our attack by 1.5 times, and we can sweep through her team. We're at a high enough level now that we can sacrifice a turn or two to Paralysis to once again guarantee the Okos and rip through her team. That's 5 badges, and it only gets easier from here. After maxing out first our Carbos for speed, then Protein for attack, I start making my way to our next badge in Fuchsia City. I'm not very interested in doing any additional grinding at the moment, because in my first playthroughs I'm always trying to push the limits of a Pokemon to figure out what's possible before coming back through and attempting to optimize. I have a Pecha Berry equipped for Koga. Coughing has Smokescreen, whereas Muck has Minimize. Smokescreen affects me, while Minimize is localized, so I take out Coughing immediately and start setting up against Muck. The problem with that, though, is that by the time we finally hit Muck after setting up twice, he's used Acid Armor as well, increasing his defense and blocking our one-shot. This turns into a downward spiral from which we eventually fall once we're poisoned. The second time. I come right back in, setting up 1 bulk up against Muck this time, hitting through and getting the knockout. Then it's just a smash fest as Big Mac cleans up his second Coughing and Ace Wheezing in the back with ease. Over on Cinnabar Island, I'm using the Poké Quiz mechanic to skip the trainers in Blaine's gym. This is usually a place that I enjoy grinding, as speed EVs are almost universally useful in solo runs, and it's fairly dense with experience. I don't know how much grinding Machop is going to need yet, so let's continue pushing for progression instead. Blaine is another battle where we're gonna face a double Intimidate from his lead Growlithe and Arcanine. I want to see how much damage we're doing without any setup. Neutral Return handles both Growlithe and Ponyta, switching to Rock Slide for the one-shot against Rapidash. It's when Arcanine hits the field, taking us to -2 attack, that our plight reveals itself. Rock Slide looks to be doing just under half. I end up missing our last turn of Rock Slide, though I doubt it would have taken down Arcanine anyway, as he hits us with Fire Blast for a reset. Despite the loss, that's actually some great information that we got there. We outspeed all of his Pokemon, and a bit of setup should get us the victory. I set up once while Growlithe hits a critical Fire Blast, also getting the burn. Well then, we're under half health already, but with our Guts ability active, I have no choice but to go for it. I follow the same move order coming into Arcanine, getting hit by Intimidate, only to -1 this time, but also only 16 health after we take our burn damage. I misclick going for Return, but get a crit taking down Arcanine for our 7th badge. I hold on to that burn, supplementing often with potions through the first part of the Sevi Island plotline and progress towards Viridian City Gym. I again defeat only the mandatory trainers and let's face down Giovanni. I still have my burn and watch this dominance. At level 53 with a combination of Brick Break for the Rhyhorns and Return for everything else, Machamp muscles his way through our final gym leader battle. The best part for me as a player? Since we're burned, I can't be affected by Poison Point. Glorious. We have one final challenge before the Pokemon League, Rival 6. I'm still carrying my burn and neglected to heal before coming into this battle. Ruh-roh. Rock Slide crushes Pidgeot, then Alakazam outspeed and singes our Cerebellum with Psychic. I come right back in after healing, just with a potion, as I want to keep that burn. This time, at much higher health, Alakazam must not see the one-shot, setting up Calm Mind instead. Return takes him down. We knock down his Growlithe and Rhyhorn, but then Gyarados hits the field, intimidating us to -2. There's still a Venusaur in the back to deal with, so I try taking a moment to set up one bulk up, but the damage overwhelms us again. I wipe a couple of times here before coming up with this little gem. I take out Pidgeot with Rock Slide and Alakazam with Return again, but in this battle, I've also healed my burn away. I start setting up against Growlithe, and once I use my 4th bulk up, his Flame Wheel burns us again. Oh yeah, let's finish this. There's not much left to discuss as we outspeed and one-shot the rest of his team, finishing at 26 health. There's nothing more for us to do. Let's jump into the Round 1 League. We lead off against Lorelei. I've healed my burn status simply because I want to determine what's possible in this league. I'll start with Machamp as he is in the off-season, not burning with that Roid Rage. Something that I did before this playthrough is research where I could get easily burned again. I don't usually do research before a run, but this felt like a worthwhile thing to do. We're in this league still sporting a moveset of Brick Break, Return, Rock Slide, and Bulk Up. The strategy of Smashy Smashy works well enough for Lorelei, not even needing a turn of setup. Bruno is another example of Machamp Smash. I missed the one-shot against his lead Onix, using the following turn to set up a single bulk up while he heals. Brawny, barbaric Brick Breaks brazenly bash Bruno's boys. We do miss the one-shot against Machamp, leaving him at a sliver, but we got him on his back foot early, proving our Big Mac superior. Agatha can definitely be problematic for Machamp. She has fast, special attacking ghosts that love status conditions. Her Golbat also uses stab flying moves, which we're weak to, and our only move that hits her ghosts is the 90% accuracy Rock Slide. It feels like we're the ones on our back foot early, as setting up even once against her Golbat was bad news bears. We make it to her Arbok, but at only 38 HP. Return misses the mark, taking her only to around a third, and then Arbok finishes us off. After a couple of attempts, it's clear that Agatha's status effects are a big problem for us. I decided to leave the league and attempt again with a burn. In the very first room of Victory Road lies cool trainer Naomi. Her Ninetales knows Will-O-Wisp, a move that burns the opponent. I go through her team until Ninetales, getting some experience along the way, and then spam bulk up until we get burned again. Alright, let's give it another shot. Lorelei and Bruno are largely unchanged, as I just now smashy smash a little bit harder. Rock Slide alone is still missing the mark against her lead Gengar. In this attempt, it results in us getting confused, which after hitting ourselves and taking more damage from burns results in another reset as we spend more turns attacking ourselves than Gengar. I reset a few more times and it's time to use some rare candies. I feel like we're gonna need them before the champion anyway. I level up to 60 over the next damage rounding threshold, and because of our low speed we are taking hits along the way, but our strategy is bulk up once and smash. Machamp sure is good at that. Machamp smashes all the way through her team this time, ending at 14 health. If we'd missed or not one shot, the burn damage alone would have taken us out there. That was close. Dragon Master Lance is next, and we kind of have a type advantage here. Dragon Master might be a bit of a stretch with his team, as in this battle he uses as many flying types as he does dragons, which are weak to rock. With the burn still affecting us though, it seems that a single bulk up isn't the right strategy, as we get overwhelmed extremely quickly by the amount of damage we're taking. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to skip ahead again. I've reset several more times, leaning into my stash of rare candies again, incrementally going over damage rounding thresholds. We find ourselves now at level 68, 3 thresholds higher than the last attempt I showed. I'm following the same turn order in the beginning, but now at neutral attack we can one-shot his Ace Dragonite. His final 2 Dragonairs get cleaned up easily with return. This may have been suboptimal keeping the burn, but so close to the champion I wanted to explore him with the burn first, as it's easier to heal the burn than to go get a new one. We level up to 69, nice, and let's prep for the champion. Here we are, facing the round 1 champ. I'm following roughly the same turn order that I did against Rival 6, trying to delete Pidgeot and Alakazam as early as possible. I do manage it, but my goodness, that Psychic from Alakazam did a lot, around 62% in a single shot. Add in burn damage, and we don't have much health to play with here. Rhydon falls, and then against Gyarados, we miss and get taken out. By a resisted bite, no less. Alright, once again, I'm skipping ahead through several resets. I've attempted a few different turn orders, then leveled up, finishing off every rare candy that we had. We're now attempting the battle at level 71 without the burn. Even without the burn, we have more than enough damage to still one-shot Pidgeot and Alakazam, but that Psychic is still doing a huge amount of damage. I guess it's only doing 57% now instead of 62%. Rhydon misses Scary Face as we miss the one-shot, using his healing turn to set up a single bulk up and finish him off. His speediest Pokemon are done for, so I can introduce a little bit of risk here, setting up 2 bulk ups against Gyarados, then Okoing. At 47 health, we have 2 Pokemon left. Arcanine hits the field, intimidating, so now we're at only +1 attack. We outspeed and one-shot, thankfully because of our defense being set up to +3, Extreme Speed must not have been a knockout. We go for return against his Ace Venusaur and miss the one-shot. He responds with, Growth? What? Why? Okay, cool man. He gets caught in a healing loop as I just keep clicking return because I am way too scared to not be clicking return. We take him down, but that was darn close. Alright, I'm gonna have to do some brainstorming and testing on this one for sure, but I think I'm starting to see a path for Machop to take next playthrough. Big Mac clocks in with a round 1 time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 10 seconds at level 71 with 43 resets. This took 4 hours and 59 minutes of game time. Welcome to the Round 2 Elite Four. On top of some team and moveset changes, all teams have been powered up by around 12 levels. There wasn't much to cover aside from Machop's smash through the last part of the Sevi Island plotline. We come into Lorelei burned at level 75. I don't need any setup as our stab, super effective, guts boosted brick breaks leave Lorelei's entire team wondering where the heck that train that just hit them all went. Bruno goes, funnily enough, exactly the same as his initial round 1 battle went. I missed the one-shot against his lead Steelix, setting up a bulk up while he heals, and then we begin our smash. With the burn on our side this time though, his Machop falls in 1, but that's the only difference from round 1. Another absolutely dominant victory for Machop. Similarly to the round 1 league, we find our first hurdle at Agatha. A really bad thing for Machop is that most of her team now knows Psychic, which hurts a lot. I set up 1 bulk up and take out her lead, but I don't think we have the health to even survive the burn damage for the remainder of the battle at only 29. Especially if Crobat outspeeds and hits Sludge Bomb. Yep, that's over. Jumping ahead again, I've reset 5 more times trying different strategies. Attempting her without the burn went better, but we still needed more levels. I'm out of candies though, so I white out and re-challenge the league. Something important happened though. We now outspeed her lead. I set up once and take her down. Rock Slide handles her Crobat and Mischievous, bringing out her Ace Gengar. We don't outspeed this Gengar and miss the one-shot, setting up once more while she heals and taking her down, but only at 27 HP. Arbok comes out intimidating us back to +1, but Return gets the one-shot. Alright, we find Machop in an interesting situation here. Dragon Doctoral Lance's lead Gyarados is notorious for using Thunder Wave to paralyze you early. This is good for Machop in that it activates Guts, but very, very bad because paralysis on a solo Pokemon is usually a death sentence. We're even slower than normal, taking more damage and lose enough turns to being paralyzed that I don't even manage to hit his third Pokemon. The thing is though, Machamp is kind of a beast. I use Bulk Up turn 1 this time as Gyarados paralyzes us. Rock Slide takes him out, that's 1. Bulk Up set up our defense as well so Aerodactyl's Aerial Ace doesn't hit for much and we OHKO. His Lesser Dragonite continues getting in chip damage while we fire off another one-shot. Kingdra is a little scarier, but after getting hit by Surf, our Stab Brick Break brings him down in 1 again. Only the Ace Dragonite remains, hitting with Outrage for around 60 damage, and we fire off one final Rock Slide for the win. My thinking coming into the round 2 champion battle was this: let's try keeping that paralysis. It's probably gonna get me killed, but what the heck. Let's see what happens. A fun thing about having a physical Pokemon that knows Bulk Up is that it's generally quite easy to set up against this Heracross. He is all physical as well, dealing further reduced damage every turn we set up. I go all the way to +6 and knock him down. All the setup in the world can't save you from being too slow though, as over the next 3 Pokemon we get hit, then one-shot, get hit, then one-shot, get hit, and can't take it anymore, with Alakazam finishing us off. Well, that was admittedly a dumb idea, but I just wanted to check. This time coming into the battle fully healed, I only set up to +1 before taking out Heracross. I'd like to keep my speed intact and avoid those Rock Tombs if I can. Return takes him out, and now we outspeed Tyranitar, taking him down with a 4-time super effective Brick Break. Arcanine is next, and we miss the one-shot but get a flinch. As usual, I set up once more while he heals and take down the Fire Doggo. Alakazam is out, hitting us for an absolutely insane 186 damage, 69% of our max. Nice! Gyarados is out and goes exactly the same as Arcanine did, missing the one-shot, getting the flinch, setting up, and then taking him out. And here we are against his ace. Return does around 3/4 while Venusaur sets up the Sun. Okay, one more return gets the job done. We have defeated the round 2 champion. Granted, there was some amazing flinch luck in that fight. I feel like if I'd set up against Heracross more, we might have had an easier time in that battle. The risk being losing too much speed. Big Mac clocks in with a round 2 time of 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 54 seconds at level 82 with 50 resets. This took 6 hours and 35 minutes of game time. Cool beans, let's start our second playthrough and discuss my optimizations. I'm going to be skipping over a lot in the second playthrough, as anything that is very similar to the first playthrough I will cut out because we've already seen it. For starters, I'm keeping our Machop set up in the same way with a Jolly Nature and maxed IVs. I had considered using HP Ghost in this run, but I feel like the time investment for TM10 hunting may not be worth it. We have better options with Machamp. In the lab battle, I did do like 2 minutes of testing to see if Leer made a significant impact on this battle. It didn't. The only thing that wins you this lab battle is a crit and somewhat cooperative Bulbasaur. We actually get that, leveling up to 6, and this is going to accelerate our early grind. I tested this early section and found that this was the best way through. I've been clearing wild encounters as we found them for 2 reasons: experience, as we need to be level 10, and speed EVs. We need as many of these as we can get, along with attack. That's why I came to the Mankey Grass to train. I tested PP depletion against a Metapod and using Struggle to defeat Bugcatcher Sammy, but we were too low a level to be effective without leveling up to 8, which we learned Focus Energy at 7 for even more PP depletion. I grind up to level 10 using my last PP of Low Kick to level up, heal, and let's get this run moving. Editing Me is loving the fact that I'm using the same style of edit for Bugcatcher Sammy that I usually use for gym leaders. Oh, fighting types. Honestly, Bugcatcher Sammy is far more dangerous than Brock anyway. I found that the 2 Leer strategy gave us the most consistent time in this battle. On the 4th turn we get poisoned while Weedle is still above 3/4 health though. Oh boy, here we go. Nothing to do now but mash A and hope. We're down to the last turn. Machop and Weedle 1 hit away from defeat. Weedle is faster, going for String Shot. Machop then winds up and punts Weedle, sending it flying for points if we count those 2 trees over there as goalposts. I then defeat this guy, who for some reason is important. I don't know everyone, I just feel like I've already defeated the boss encounter in this area. What makes a guy that takes 3 turns to defeat so special? I'm just messing with you, Brock. He was easy, and we are moving on with our first badge almost 4.5 minutes faster than last run. On the way through Mount Moon, I grab the Dome Fossil. It shimmers with a luminescence that I wasn't expecting from a fossil. Is there something more going on here? As I step outside, the light jars my senses back to reality. It's time to teach Mega Punch once again, this time doing it immediately and not almost forgetting. As you can see, I have defeated a couple of extra trainers along the way, leveling Machop up to 20. I have another experienced target coming soon. I have the Oranberry from in front of youngster Calvin and his Spearow equipped for this battle for that little bit of extra safety. Despite missing turn 1 and getting hit by 2 sand attacks, this battle is textbook. We knock out his whole team coming into Bulbasaur at around 93% health. He poisons us, but I feel like even with sleep we could have survived a few turns and hopefully woken up in time. Mega Punch hits, then Seismic Toss finishes. Rival 2 goes down. We are cruising already. Jumping ahead to Misty's gym, I have cleared a few extra trainers in the area, including Swimmer Lewis in the gym. As a consequence of battling more trainers, I also pulled down Camper Flint for TM43 Secret Power because I prefer it over Mega Punch. This extra training leveled Machop almost perfectly to level 26, so I will use the 2 rare candies we've acquired to this point to level to 28, evolving into Machoke. We now face Misty with a much higher probability of winning. So much more, in fact, that I don't even come into the battle fully healed. I ran out of healing items, which I even bought extras of this time. Secret Power Rock Star You. Starmie outspeeds, hitting Water Pulse for less than a quarter of our max, while we hit a Rock Tomb for around a third. Because of the speed drop though, we now move first, hitting Secret Power and ending the battle. I don't want to brag or anything, but we're already over 12 minutes ahead of last run upon acquiring our second badge. We follow the same route, catching our cheerleaders and finding ourselves aboard the SS Anne. I'm healing, grabbing Brick Break and the trash can berries. Once again, I will not be investing the time to catch an army of Meowths. These are going to be all of the chores that we have to run on the SS Anne, so let's go defeat Rival 3 and really start accelerating our progress. Remember last run, it was this fight that evolved us into Machoke, but this time we're coming in fully evolved. I'd say that the results speak for themselves here. We absolutely dominate Rival 3. Ivysaur manages to put us to sleep, but we wake up almost immediately and finish him off while still at 97% health. Remember how we wiped here a few times last run? I steamroll Lieutenant Surge, then progress through Rock Tunnel into the mid-game. I'm following the same route as last playthrough with the exception of having defeated Surge before going into Rock Tunnel this time. I've also kept Secret Power in favor of Dig, which I taught to Meowth. It is a great utility move to get out of places quickly like the Rocket Hideout, Silphco, and even Sabrina's gym. Speaking of the Rockets, check out this Giovanni fight in the hideout. I love this PowerPoint management. We have Seismic Tosses in reserve, but Giovanni uses our final PP of both Brick Break and Return to defeat him. The reason I find this exciting is because I've been defeating a few extra trainers along the way so that we could hit level 37 right around now. In hindsight, I could have skipped one trainer because I wanted to be evolved into Machamp in order to face Erica, saving us a little bit of backtracking time later. So with the first part of the Rocket plotline defeated, we evolve into our final form. This is where things get even more fun, I feel. I haven't healed yet and go straight to Erica, but all I have left is Rock Slide and Seismic Toss. I used the Max Ether from the Rocket Hideout to replenish Brick Break, though I meant to replenish Return. That'll be important soon. As such, I'm using Rock Slide against Erica, switching to Brick Break for Tangela. We do get fully paralyzed for a couple of turns in a row, allowing Erica some damage and recovery, but with our Guts ability active, we now have the damage to finish her off once we finally hit through. I pulverize Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower, then after my item collection in Silphco, I'm ready to face Rival 5. After collecting TM8 in here, just like last time, our moveset is now Brick Break, Rock Slide, Return, and Bulk Up, an incredibly solid moveset for a solo challenger. Rock Slide deletes Pidgeot, but I've been thinking about this in hindsight. Just like last run, I'm blasting through the fight with the intention of setting up against Growlithe, but I don't really feel like I need the burn for now. I should have actually set up against Alakazam because his only attacking move in this battle is Future Sight. I feel this actually resulted in a little bit of a time loss here, but we still defeat him on the first crack. Next I defeat Sabrina, then head to the department store to max out my vitamins. This is where we're gonna diverge from the last run again, as it's about time to do a bit of grinding. Only a little though. I fly back to Saffron and zip up to the fighting dojo to clear it, then make my way down Cycling Road following the right path. This path has the hidden rare candy and primarily the Machop and Mankey lines for more juicy attack EVs. There's also a trainer with 2 Voltorbs for speed EVs near the top. I'm only interested in defeating trainers that provide me with attack and speed. The Coughing and Grimer lines are fine and all, but not what I need at the moment. I then clear the Bird Keepers for more speed EVs and attack from Dodrio. I then defeat Koga, and head to Cinnabar Island where I will be defeating every trainer in Blaine's gym. You'd think that there are a lot of special attack EVs in here, but that is incorrect! It's primarily speed, actually, of which I want as much as I can get. It should also come as no surprise that with this additional grinding earlier in the game, everything is easier. We reset against Blaine last run, but this time we absolutely destroy him. I defeat Blaine still at 97% health, then Giovanni at 100% health. I'll note that I didn't clear any additional trainers in the Sevi Islands, but did clear all of the trainers in Giovanni's gym. There's a little bit of grinding left to do in Victory Road, but Rival 6 stands in the way. For a point of comparison, we defeated Blaine at level 53 in this run, the same level that we defeated Lorelei in our first run. Oh yeah, we've been doing some grinding along the way. With our extra levels, it's absolutely incredible how much of a difference they make. We crush Rival 6 without slowing down for a moment. I have a bit of additional training to do in Victory Road right after this battle. I'm not targeting EVs as much anymore, though I am prioritizing certain trainers with more attack. I'm instead prioritizing XP density as we complete our final bit of grinding. After reaching Indigo Plateau and unlocking the fly location, I have one final chore. I saved doing this until the last minute before the league because I'm replacing Return and wanted to keep it for my grinding. What am I replacing Return with? Well, we're in Fuchsia City, what else would I be getting other than Substitute? In my second playthroughs, I am 100% focused on the real-time completion metric, and Substitute makes both of these leagues significantly more consistent at a lower level. I'm gonna do something a little crazy here. I'm gonna supercut both Lorelei and Bruno. Trust me, you're gonna see pretty much the exact same battles in round 2, just at a higher level. It's against Agatha that we can see our new move in action. A big part of why we needed all of the additional levels is to outspeed Agatha, both in this round and the next. Substitute sacrifices a quarter of your max HP to put a decoy with an equivalent amount of HP that will block damage and, more importantly, status conditions on the field. Outspeeding her allows me to put up a decoy turn 1, set up, and then roll through her team while protected from Hypnosis, Confuse Ray, and Intimidate. That's going to be important soon. Against Lance, you can see Substitute making things more consistent, but this time without relying on the avoidance of status conditions. Gyarados intimidates us to -1, that's unavoidable, so I set up 2 bulk ups bringing us back to +1. I then set up a decoy to prevent any unforeseen nastiness and go for the sweep. Aerodactyl immediately shows why this was a smart move, outspeeding and getting a critical wing attack, which might have actually wiped us out had the decoy not absorbed it. We OHKO with Brick Break, then start working through the rest of his team, easy as can be. Another little bit of fun XP routing is that we finish the fight just after leveling up to 66. Alright, it's time for the round 1 champion. After defeating Lance, I used 2 rare candies to bring us up to level 68 over the next damage rounding threshold. Against Pidgeot, I set up Substitute, immediately dodging a Feather Dance. Behind a decoy, I only need to set up 1 bulk up, then take down Bird Brains with Rock Slide. I love this interaction because Alakazam seems almost 100% of the time to go Reflect in this situation, so at +1, despite the resistance, I switch to Brick Break, shattering the wall and getting the one-shot. Rhydon falls to another, then Gyarados hits the field, but our decoy blocks the Intimidate. Rock Slide one-shots, bringing out Arcanine, again keeping safe from Intimidate. Arcanine falls to, you guessed it, Rock Slide, bringing out his Ace Venusaur. At +1, our Rock Slide puts him into heal range, so I switch to Resisted Brick Break for some heavy chip damage, then Rock Slide polishes him off. The only damage we took in that battle was sacrificing our own HP for the Substitute. Pure dominance. Substitute isn't exactly a cure-all, but gosh, when you can work it in effectively, it is so unbelievably powerful in solo runs. Machop clocks in with a round 1 time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 7 seconds at level 69, nice, with 0 resets. This took 4 hours and 26 minutes of game time. After conquering the second half of the Sevi Island plotline and grabbing the leftovers, I have one last chore to complete before entering the Round 2 League. I use my 8 remaining rare candies to bring Machop from level 72 to 80. These extra levels, as it seems is fairly typical in these runs, are to solve a single battle. It doesn't even necessarily solve it as make it much, much more consistent. Now fully powered up, let's go kick some Elite Four butt. We start against round 2 Lorelei, and, well, Machamp absolutely annihilates her. We one-shot every single one of her Pokemon, not skipping a beat. You may notice that I haven't been relying on using Guts much in this second playthrough. I found that as interesting as it was to use, there were a lot of situations where the risk was simply not worth the reward. Using Substitute and a setup move is going to be a much more consistent solution through these leagues, but I really enjoyed playing with Guts a bunch in the first playthrough. Bruno is once again going to be a completely one-sided battle in our favor. We set up a single bulk up while Steelix hits Rock Tomb, lowering our speed. Yeah, we don't care, as Brick Break then does work against his entire team. Our leftovers recovered the damage we took from Rock Tomb, so we end up finishing our second league member at 100% health. I hope this demonstration of our dominance in these battles properly illustrates why I felt like I could just skip them in round 1. It's time for round 2 Agatha, and the reason that we needed to be level 80 when we entered the league. It makes the first 2 battles laughably easy and brings us to level 81 when facing Agatha's lead Gengar. At 80, we speed-tied this Gengar, but at 81, we outspeed. Getting a substitute up early completely redefines this battle. Because we now outspeed, we are in control now, bringing ourselves to +2 with bulk up and setting up new decoys whenever Gengar goes for Psychic. The recovery from leftovers is so critical here as well. Set up, and behind a decoy, it's time to sweep. Her Ace Gengar is the reason that I set up to +2. +1 did not give us the one-shot. This Gengar does still outspeed us, breaking our decoy with Psychic once again while we take her down with Rock Slide. Arbok will be an easy cleanup in the back. In testing, I was messed up by that Ace Gengar so many times before electing to go for substrats. They are, after all, best strats. Round 2 Lance is going to be a totally different battle from last run. We discovered that with Guts we were fine getting paralyzed by Gyarados, then using our massive attack and decent amount of bulk to pretty much muscle our way through. Well, my friends, any experienced lifter knows that technique is the most important component of lifting. Using this technique, Gyarados will spam Thunder Wave ineffectively against our decoy while we pump up with impunity. I set up 3 times, bringing our attack to +2. I want this for Kingdra. His whole team gets wiped out after that, and after the recovery from leftovers, we finish our 3rd league member at 100% health. All that remains is the champion, and I'm guessing many of you can already see where this is going given what I learned in the champ fight last run. Heracross has Mega Horn and Rock Tomb, which we resist, Earthquake, and counter. I'd like to take a moment to once again thank everyone in the comment section for your tips and tricks, because I now know that the AI sees Rock Tomb as a speed control. Since we're faster, even though it's resisted, I can hide behind my decoy and avoid speed drops all day, setting up my own attack and defense for the rest of the battle. He does break my decoy, so I bring out a new one and finish him off after setting up to +5. This may seem excessive, but trust me. +5 stab, 4 times super effective Brick Break does enough damage to take out Tyranitar and 5 of his closest friends. We avoid Intimidate, taking down Arcanine with Brick Break for the added accuracy. Alakazam is out, and part of the reason I went to +5. Strange, right? He's frail. But he's also a big threat to Machamp, using Stab super effective Psychic to melt our poor little decoy. But it served its purpose protecting us while we KO. So why the +5? Gyarados is out, and with our decoy broken, we're intimidated back to +4. I miss once, then finish him off, bringing us to his Ace Venusaur. At +4, our Rock Slide is a guaranteed one-shot, leaving a chance for him to survive at only +3. We hit, taking him down for an incredibly satisfying finish. That was awesome. A quick point of discussion before we begin to wrap up is Cross Chop. It would have been a much more powerful move, but at only 80% accuracy, I instead chose the reliability of Brick Break. I feel like this was the right choice. Machamp clocks in with a round 2 time of 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 12 seconds at level 83 with 0 resets. This was a perfect run. This took 5 hours and 27 minutes of game time. Let's take a look at how much we managed to improve over the last run. We started strong, gaining over 4 minutes against Brock, but by the time we defeat Lieutenant Surge, we're over 21 minutes ahead. That gap widens, but then begins to narrow as we go through the mid-game doing a little bit of additional training. We complete the gym challenge in under an hour this time, just shy of 12 minutes ahead, but the extra grinding really paid off, saving 32 minutes in the round 1 league, culminating with a 44-minute and 42-second time save in round 2, 1 level higher, but with 50 less resets. A perfect run. Well, deathless. I guess it was far from perfect. On the tier list, this wedges Machamp in between Metagross and Dragonite, finishing only 10 seconds slower than Metagross. I feel like this is an appropriate place for him, funnily enough placing him smack in the center of a cluster of pseudo-legendary Pokemon that have similar base attack stats, with Machamp at 130 and the pseudos at 134 and 135. Finding weird little data correlations like that is going to be so much fun to explore as we complete more runs. I want to extend a special thank you to all of you who are generous enough to support my channel through memberships, Patreon, and Super Chat. Your support makes this content possible so that I can continue bringing you more challenge videos and Pokemon content in the future. From the bottom of my shell, thank you so much. If you're interested in supporting the channel as well, you can find links in the video description. I recently posted a poll asking which Versus video you would all like to see next. As of today, with around 800 votes, it's looking like Scizor vs Heracross is the one more of you want, but not to worry, I will get to all of these videos eventually. I try really hard to keep on top of the comments and requests, keeping running tallies of highly requested runs. If you've requested seeing something and haven't seen it yet, trust me, I'm getting to it. Please be patient with me, as I want to put the time and effort deserved by each Pokemon and every video to bring you the best possible content that I can. Ugh, yes, even for Shuckle. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I've been shifting gears a bit lately and preparing myself for larger scale projects. I've spilled a little bit of detail about them in the comments and Premiere live chats, but we're all gonna have to wait and see if I can pull off my ambitious plans. The best way that you can help me with this is by continuing to show your support. If you feel like I've earned it, leave a like and comment about the run, what you'd like to see in the future, or just to say hi. You can't see me right now, but I'm giving you a very over-exaggerated head nod while asking, sup? Another way to really help my channel is to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. As we've proven once again today, substrats, best strats. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some bug Pokemon to start working on. Until next time, take care everyone.